Hi, everyone. I'm Barry Stagner, and this is his channel Newsbreak. Turkey's purchase of Russia's S-400 defense system has long been a burden not only for the U.S., but for NATO, too, the security bloc in which Turkey is a member. NATO was created to counter Soviet threats, and today it aims to do the same as Russia extends its influence across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Its members are sovereign states with the right to have normal relations with any nation, including Russia. But its members also have the obligation to not undermine the interests of the alliance. Turkey's purchase of the very military equipment the alliance was created to deter undermines the interests of NATO. The situation is not that complicated. No NATO member can purchase defense systems that are incompatible with NATO defense systems, especially if the missiles were created to shoot down fighter jets like the American F-35. Turkey's list of bad decisions against U.S. national security interests is never-ending. From evading Iranian sanctions, standing against designating the IRGC a terrorist organization, condemning the U.S. recognition of U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem move, and its recognition of Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and thus also supporting Venezuela's Maduro regime, threatening America's Kurdish partners in Syria, and the list goes on and on. Erdogan wants Americans to move out of the way in Syria so he can have his way with the Kurds with an intent to slaughter them. But the reality is that Turkey, with or without Erdogan, needs America, Europe, and NATO. And if America wishes so, it can shut down the Turkish economy with a blink of an eye, as it nearly did with the very basic sanctions in 2018. In addition, Turkey is already in a recession, so threatening the U.S. is not a very smart move on Erdogan's part. Turkey's policy towards the same Kurds who defeated the Islamic State caliphate, the same Kurds that sacrificed over 11,000 fighters, and nearly 8,000 of the Kurds were wounded, should be condemned. The number of Christians in the birthplace of their faith, the greater Middle East, continues to plummet months after the Islamic State, which waged a genocidal campaign against Christians, lost its caliphate in Iraq and Syria. I think we have no more hope, Archbishop Viken Akazian said. In America's capital, the diocesan legate and the ecumenical director for the Eastern Diocese of the Armenian Orthodox Church of America also said, referring to the future of Christianity in its Middle East cradle, the Middle East Christians have no nation that protects them openly. The number of Christians in the Middle East and North Africa as a component of the overall Muslim majority population has dropped substantially from about 10% in 1900 to between 2 and 4% now. The number of Christians in the Middle East has already dropped extensively, he further declared, accusing church leaders of inflating the actual numbers of Christ followers in the region to minimize the fact that Christianity is on the brink of extinction there. The bishop urged U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to do even more to help Middle Eastern Christians. Contradicting assertions by the Trump administration, the church leader said, "People are not coming back. I can assure you, nobody is going back." The Trump administration has dispersed billions in funding to help victims of the ISIS genocide, namely Christians and Yazidis, but the bishop said it is not enough. In Iraq, the number has decreased from 1.6 million to less than 100,000, a drop of over 90%. Well, we know that both anti-Semitism and persecution of Christians will be on the rise in the last days, giving us today's reminder to keep looking up.